Hey guys, welcome to the kitchen. We're cooking dinner tonight. I found this little recipe. It just popped up in my feed on Facebook. It doesn't even have a name. And it's supposed to be a crock pot recipe, but I'm not going to do the crock pot. Also, it's a large recipe, so it's going to feed a lot of people, but it's just me and Shane that are going to be eating on it. So I'm going to cut the recipe in half. So it looks really yummy. It looks like comfort food. And let me just show you what it calls for. So the recipe calls for 2 pounds of ground beef. I'm going to use 1. It calls for a whole block of Velveeta. I'm going to use half. It calls for a whole block of cream cheese. I'm going to use half. A can of mild diced tomatoes. Well, Rotel, you can get spicy if you want to. I don't do spicy, so I got mild. And depending on how it looks cooking up, will depend on if I use the whole can or half the can. And it calls for a can of cream of chicken soup. Again, I'll use whatever I feel like it needs, half or whole. And then bow tie pasta, which you can use whatever pasta you want. I thought this also might be good with sausage. So this is like a Rotel dip with pasta in it. And it just looked really good, and I was like, I'm gonna make that for dinner. So what the recipe tells you to do is to get the cheese and your liquids going in the crock pot and let all that melt while you're browning your ground beef. But I'm not gonna drag this out for an hour and a half, so I'm gonna put it in the pot, the cheese, the cream cheese, the soup, and the Rotel. I'm gonna get it going, and then I'm gonna brown the ground beef in the cast iron skillet. And we're gonna do it that way. So let's get this party started. Alright, so we're going to get this hamburger meat going. You know what? This recipe does not call for onion, which is silly to me. So I think I need to chop up an onion. Let me do that. Okay. I had some sweet Vidalia onion in there, so we're going to go ahead and put that in there. I was looking at the recipe and I was like, where's the onion? Gotta have the onion. Okay, so we're gonna get this going. We've got the water. It's about to come to a rolling boil for the pasta. We've got all our cheeses and our Rotel. Woo! Steaming. Hamburger and onions. Don't you love the smell of hamburger meat and onions? It's one of my favorites. It doesn't matter what you're cooking. When the hamburger meat and the onion are cooking together, and I think I'm going to season up the meat and onions a little bit. Let's see what we can come up with. We can come up with some salt and pepper. Onion powder. And I'm just winging this part. hamburger deluxe. I just put in half a box. Put in a little bit of garlic powder, just a little bit. I think that'll be good. Let me get all this going and we'll mix it together. Okay, we got the cheese and the rotel all melted. The pasta's about done. The hamburger is done and drained, so I'm going to go ahead and mix this in here. And then the last thing we'll do when it's ready is add the pasta. You could leave it like this and leave it low carb if you wanted. But this is really no fun without pasta or chips or toast or, you know, something. Looks good and smells good. And this is already a lot. So if there's just a few of you and you decide to make this, I highly recommend cutting it in half. Also, I only used half a can of cream of chicken and the half a can of rotel. So cut everything in half if you decide to do that. And the leftover rotel and leftover cream of chicken, I mixed them together. I mixed them together and put it in a bowl in the fridge. And I thought, well, we can use that for breakfast with scrambled eggs or sausage or bacon or whatever. Figure something out. Be back. I forgot to turn on the camera, but I drained the pasta and put it in here. So I'm gonna get it in a bowl. We're gonna give it a little taste. Okay, I've got it all plated up with a little.
Look at the state. That's a special effect.
The steam.
Yeah, we added that post-production.
I put a little Italian seasoning on it to make it pretty, but my fork ruined it, so I'm gonna give it a test. He said it looks like Hamburger Helper, and I said, well, it's kind of a homemade Hamburger Helper.
I mean, it doesn't have powdered, the powder packet, but
Velveeta, same thing.
yeah.
Velveeta is like one of the worst things you can put in your body.
Cheese Jello.
No, you don't want none of that. It needs salt, of course. Y'all know me, I need salt. I think it would be better with sausage. It'll give a little more kick, But it's good. And you know what else? I would have put there was only like that much rotel
There's
left.
a lot of cheese.
I should have put the rest, and I still can. No, because I mixed it with soup.
It's super rich.
If you decide to it's rich. If you decide to cut the recipe in half, go ahead and put the whole can of rotel. And maybe, Shane said add a little bit of milk earlier, and I was like, no. But I think it would be a little less sticky if you put a little bit of milk. But that's good, I think.
It is good.
That's good.
Did you just use 1 pound of hamburger?
Yeah. Just use 1 pound.
And it was quick. How long did it take you? 15 minutes?
Mm.
Probably the biggest pain was when she was cutting up the cubes, the Velveeta into cubes.
Cutting up Velveeta is a pain. Okay, so use the whole can of rotel. Add a splash of milk. definitely add seasoning.
You
All
better.
that seasoning that I added, and add whatever you want, but definitely add seasoning.
And you better like cheese.
And you gotta be a cheese lover. Okay. I'd make it again.
I'll eat some.
Okay. I'd make it again, but I would change a few things.
Oh, good.
It's good. What we got? I got 4 ripe avocados, so I'm gonna take 3 of them and make some guacamole. I'm not gonna vlog that though. Okay, we got the live stream going for the Hurricane Milton. We have some friends that live in Lakeland, Florida, which is right outside of Tampa, and they posted on Facebook today that they evacuated, so thank God for that. And we're watching and praying, and hopefully it'll all be good. So yeah. Okay. We love you, the Lord loves you more, and we will see you in the next video.